DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by diehard Florida State fans and boosters, the Lemmix family in Pensacola. So cut them some slack for their Hurricane blend. No green and orange, and it's definitely not all about some random letter in the alphabet. It simply is a blend for those of you who love that strong coffee flavor without bitterness. DeLuna has combined 2 different South American beans with a Hawaiian bean. In fact, the Hurricane blend has won as many ACC titles as the school in Coral Gables. Try it or one of their other 24 blends and get a discount when you use the promo code WARCHANT15. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant. It's Miami week, and we are fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Go explore the bundles. Bundle number 1 I present to you, Corey and dear listener. The Warchant bundle with tumbler, bag of delicious DeLuna hot cocoa, and a bag of Blue Angels coffee. Behind door number 2, the second bundle, the chocolate bundle. Warchant tumbler, hot cocoa, and a tin of the Blue Angels chocolate-covered espresso caramels. Go get you one. Get you 2, get you several at DeLunaCoffee.com. Corey, before we start the show, we have a good Samaritan that listens to our program that's gone ahead and stepped up and wanted to do a kind deed for one of our listeners on our live chat this past Wednesday, was expressing, lamenting something, and one of our listeners was like, hey, I can help. So, Nikki, we don't know your full name, but you're Nikki hashtag Nole for Life on YouTube. If you're listening to this, if anybody knows Nikki hashtag Nole for Life, shoot us an email, radio@warchant.com, tweet at us, Wake Up Warchant, tweet at Corey or myself, and help us get a hold of her so we can get her in touch with somebody that could possibly help her. So, yeah, there we go. Now,
hey, you did your part, man.
Trying.
You did your part. We're people trying to help people on this show.
People helping people, indeed. Corey, how are you, man?
Good, buddy. Good, man. I can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm, got done on Thursday editing the Warchant report, where we now do this sort of thing where all of us do our game predictions. And, Tom Lang, who is extremely conscientious, well-read, and very thorough, picked Miami. And then Corey S. Clark, very, very much the counterweight of the negativity that comes from this side of the microphone on this program, picked Miami. And I don't know what to think now, man. Now I'm a little bit nervous. I was very confident, sincerely, authentically confident. Now I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, my reasoning.
Do that to me? Why you gotta do it?
You saw my reasoning. It's because I always pick Florida State, and they've been losing, so I'm trying to change the mojo.
You didn't pick
I don't know, man.
You picked Clemson,
and I'm always wrong.
Well,
you're right. No, I think you're right. I might have picked Clemson. I definitely picked North Carolina.
We all picked North Carolina.
Right. I just feel like changing it up a little. I don't know. I'm not who am I out here? I can't even think of a famous gambler. But, I don't know what I'm doing.
Phil Hellmuth?
Yeah, what am I, Phil Ivey? Yeah. What, Daniel Negreanu out here? I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm trying my best. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to pick Miami. I don't believe they're going to win. I don't believe FSU is going to win. You know what? I believe it's going to be a close game. We're all going to have a lot of fun.
I picked Florida State, and my reasoning was, yeah, man, that Tyler Van Dyke is very solid. He's very sharp. He's very, very dangerous. I think their roster is, quite frankly, a little bit better than Florida State's. I think if Mike Norvell was head coach of Miami, I think Miami comes into this football game probably a 12-point favorite, probably 7-1, 8-1, maybe with an inside track of sneaking into the college football playoff possible.
All right, okay.
Maybe not that good, but you know what I'm trying to say. I think, and Norvell said, I think on Wednesday, about there's going to be swings in this game. It's going to be back and forth. I think Miami plays a little too close to the edge. They fly a little too close to the sun.
Right.
And they're going to do the stupid penalty. They're going to squeeze the ball a little too tight. And because if anything, he's talked about making this team mentally tough, having them respond properly. Listen, we've seen them not quit when they've had every opportunity to quit, which is a little bit of a weird bar. I don't know how many teams out there do quit that are top 30, top 40 caliber programs. Florida State should be much higher than that, but at least that's kind of the neighborhood we want to get into on the climb. Like, I don't know, does Minnesota, does the Minnesota, does Wake Up Gophers or something, hey, man, keep playing tough. Keep playing tough. Not a lot of teams can say that. But I just think ultimately, is this a game an indictment on Jordan Travis's? I mean, if you believe in Jordan Travis, don't you have to believe that Florida State's going to win this football game? Or what's the counterweight to why that might not be the sound sort of?
No, I mean if they
logic.
if they lose, I think I picked like 33-28. I mean, if you put up 28, 30 points, I don't know that you can blame the quarterback for losing that game. I do think the DBs and the receivers are a bad matchup. I want those DBs to go play with confidence, to go make plays. I just don't know they have any, especially a couple of them out there. They played better, much better. They're not letting guys just run free anymore. That's a big step. But there are going to be 50-50 balls. And are they really 50-50 balls, or are they really like 80-20 balls? Because they don't seem to be 50-50 when they're thrown up just with a Florida State cornerback in the area. So you got to go make – I worry about that. I just worry about your corners on the edge because they are going to get tested more than they've really been tested. And like even North Carolina was more – they go to their slot guy a lot.
Yeah.
They don't just throw it to the dudes out wide. That's what Miami lives on, man. They are going to take shots downfield with some good receivers and some dudes that are used to going up and I was going to say Moss and you, but I'll go with Crefonzo Thorpe and you. Crefonzo and you. Crefonzo and you. So that they do that stuff, man. And Florida State's corners have to go make plays. They have to go step up to the moment. And I'm not sure they can do that. But either way, I think look, if Jordan plays a bad game, certainly he'll deserve some of the blame, and the offensive coaches who, again, I have not been singing their praises for a while now. We'll just see how it plays out, man. I think they're going to put up points. I do. I think having a healthy starting quarterback is a really big deal. And let's hope he's healthy enough to, run for about 120 and throw for 2 bills. I think that's your recipe right there, my man.
Okay. There was one thing I wanted to talk about, but now that I was about to say it out loud, I'm like, I don't want to say it out loud. So let's go.
Hey, before we do that.
Absolutely.
Number one, tonight, the number 1 women's Florida State soccer team begins postseason play at the, what do they call it? The Plex, right?
Yes.
The complex, the soccer complex. So go there. I think it's a charge, but it's not much, and you can go sit in the parking garage too. That's at 6. So you come over to Corner Pocket first, watch me and Jeff at the happy hour.
Correct.
Say hello, buy me a high noon,
Yep.
And then hit the road, go watch the number 1 women's soccer team in the country, best program in the country. They start their postseason quest for another college cup today. And then also the basketball team looked, they looked a lot better than Penn on Wednesday night. That was a bloodletting. It was incredible that Penn tried to press them the whole game. I don't quite understand what they were doing. They did not. They played right into Florida State's hands. And, Florida State seems to have some new guys that can really play. So that's fun.
Could this be the best team that he's had here?
They keep saying that,
Right?
man. I feel like he said that I don't see how it's better than the one with Vassell and Patrick Williams.
Yeah, the COVID year.
And Trent Fort. No, the one before. The one got canceled.
Yeah, that
it
was
wasn't the COVID year until right the end. Well, I feel like last year was the COVID year.
Oh, okay, I got
because nobody got to go to the games and but yeah, I guess wait, COVID years they're multiple now. The one that where the postseason got canceled. I don't know how you can expect this team to be better than that when that team was legitimately poised to make a real run. But yeah, man, they're good. The Caleb Mills kid, they haven't quite had a kid like that number 1 has that kind of confidence. But you see him, and in a close game, he's a guy that could score 12 straight points, 14 straight points. And it doesn't matter if you're guarding him well or not. He's just one of those guys. So that's good to see. The Fletcher kid's obviously a really good athlete. And the Matthew Cleveland kid, he made a play. I don't know how much you watched of the game, but in the first half, he made a play in transition where he got the ball, and it was like a 1-on-2, and he's coming from the left wing, and he does a Euro step that's so fast, and so quick to get to the bucket. It looked like my TV glitched. And all of a sudden he's, okay, well, how's he going to get around that? Oh, he just laid it in. And he did it so quickly, and he's a better athlete than I thought. I knew he could score. He's got some ability there, but he can really move for that size. So, yeah, they're going to be intriguing. It'll be I don't know what they're going to do the center position, if Malik's just going to play the center the whole year for the main reps. But, yeah, it was a great first game. I don't understand what Penn was doing, trying to press Florida State and going so fast and getting sped up. But it was a great debut for a very good program.
Don't forget about Tenorin Gom, right? When he comes back, he can hold down the 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in winning time, I was talking to Brady about that during the game, because he's like, well, who's their starting 5? I'm like, well, that doesn't really matter. He's like, well, who are they going to go at the end of the game? And we were throwing names around. I think at winning time, you're not going to have one of those 7-footers on the floor.
Yeah.
You're just not. Osborne's going to have to be your 5. And he got a lot of rebounds yesterday, but he's more athletic than those guys. Not bigger. He's only 6'8". But they kept saying Florida State's size, they're dominating the glass. It's like, no, they're getting a lot of rebounds with 6'6", 6'8" guys. They're just better athletes. You get into the ACC, you're not going to just out-athlete all these teams. So that to me is a bit of a wonder, a worry. Is just what you do at the 5, because that's hard to ask him to play the center for 28 minutes a night. But, other than that, man, the 1 through 4, especially 2, 3, and 4, those positions and who they can bring in and rotate in, that's a nice luxury to have, man. And Raekwon Evans played well again. Yeah. Let's hope he keeps that up.
By the way, Abdel asked us on the live show to pick the leading scorer. I went with Anthony Polite. He had 17. Caleb
You were
Mills.
closer. Yeah.
You're 14. But Malik Osborne, who I think he might have been under the weather. I don't even know if he practiced all that much. He had 18. That's a team high. So
17 in the first half, and then let everybody else. I'm telling you, man, Anthony Polite, and they said it on the broadcast. Dan Bonner did. He's like, I don't know if there's a better standstill shooter in the catch and shoot guy in the country. If you watch Anthony Polite in a practice, just shoot from the baseline, just threes. I swear, if he shot 100 in a row, he would make somewhere in the 90s. It's like a layup. It's just crazy. Again, I owe this kid all the apologies in the world. I'm sure I wrote on multiple times and said multiple times, what is this guy doing on this roster when he was a freshman? And even his second year, his redshirt freshman year, like, I don't see it with this kid. And now he's indispensable. One of the best shooters in the country, a great on-ball defender, 6'6" long, one of the main leaders of this team, one of the culture leaders of this team. Yeah, man, it's just what they do. They develop guys that you're like, all right, what is this guy ever going to be? Oh, wait, he's Trent Forrest. Oh, wait, he's Anthony Polite. That's just what happens.
Florida State, again, victorious on Wednesday night in their season opener, 105-70 over Penn. They get Florida on Sunday. So let's make it a good weekend with a victory over the Canes before that, shall we? And let's get back to the questions on the Renegade Express over at the Tribal Council, warchant.com. Old Dad's and Noel, wake up! Well, there's a lot I could interact with you guys on, but I'd like you to address this one for now. What did Saturday against NC State say for Tate Rodemaker? Was he sick? If not, please explain why you play a guy who's not going to be here next year, is subpar at best, and had one of the worst halves I've ever seen. Then the second half came and still no Tate. What happened there? What's that say about him? Love the show, Old Dad.
Yeah, we talked about this on headlines because this is where Ira and I wouldn't say vehemently. Well, maybe it is vehemently. I think he called me ridiculous. I think we know by now that Rodemaker isn't it. It was a miss. Because I don't know how a kid, and he's like, well, his first year was a COVID year. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure, but they did practice all of last year. He was on the field practicing. He even got to start a game and play in other games as a true freshman. That's not easy to do. He goes through an entire spring where it's normal, and now he's been through an entire preseason practice and another entire fall, and he still can't beat out a one-legged kid that you know can't play quarterback. I'm sorry I keep saying one-legged. Mackenzie Milton really is trying. He can't beat out Mackenzie Milton. Playing quarterback. That does not bode well for the future of Tate Rodemaker. Does it mean that he can't find it and grow and become a player? And it's like, yeah, I guess he could, but it doesn't speak well that he couldn't, that he was not even an option in that game, especially in the first half. Like the second half, I think they scored the first 2 drives they got it. So it made sense then to not bring him in, but it didn't make sense that after those, especially when Milton had all that room to run for the first down and dove a yard short and came up, whatever it was, 2 feet short in the first half. It's like, I don't, Rodemaker they just must not trust him at all. He just must not be able to play up to their standard at all, because if he can't get run this week of all weeks, then but he's also, he's been the scout team quarterback all year. There's only so many reps to go around. That's why it's weird that they had not weird, but it is weird. I doubt there are any other programs in the country that had 4 guys that had started a game in their quarterback room this year, but they did. But Tate Rodemaker, most of his practice time was spent with the scout team. And when you're practicing scout team all year, you're not exactly getting better at your own plays. So, you're not really getting a chance to develop. But my point is, I think we could call what I hope I'm wrong, man. I hope Rodemaker wins a Heisman. I hope he's awesome. My personal opinion is if he's not in their plans right now as Jordan Travis's main backup, because we've seen McKenzie Milton, man. We know what he can't do. So if Tate Rodemaker can't, if they don't think he's better than that, then why would they think he's going to be better than that next year and the year after that? Like, I feel like you would start seeing some real progress. But again, like I said, I feel like I'm countering myself because he also has been on the scout team for most of the year.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's a miss because I don't know what the expectation was for him. He was committed to USF. They went after him, 11th hour. Everybody they went after was 11th hour in that 2020 class. And, then it's like if you bring 2 alphas, if you bring 2 4-star, 5-star quarterbacks, then, obviously one's going to leave. So maybe, they thought Chubba could be the guy they could build around, and then Tate's sort of your...
Well, I think I shouldn't say Tate was a miss. I guess I should phrase it as that quarterback recruiting class was a miss. Clearly. The guy you thought was the main guy. Number one, you ran Jeff Sims off, which is fine. We see what he is, which is, better than McKenzie Milton, but he's certainly not the future. So you didn't recruit Jeff Sims.
But you know what, though, Corey? If you're a good coaching staff, could you not develop Jeff Sims? And who's to say that he would be whatever he is in Tallahassee as he is in Georgia Tech? Because Mike Norvell, offensive-minded guy. Kenny, offensive-minded guy. I know he's an offensive coordinator. Georgia Tech has their own offensive coordinator, Patton or whatever his name is. But, who's to say that Jeff Sims would?
Just off the top of your head, GT's offensive coordinator?
I was watching the Miami-Georgia Tech game a few days ago. But, who's to say? Listen, I don't think Jeff Sims was the answer. But we could kind of defend it a little bit more earlier on. And anytime Georgia Tech had a good game, it was like, hey, look, Mike Norvell screwed up on that one. It's like, hey, everybody relax. But now that Chubba leaves, Tate can't surpass McKenzie in this season. Then you start thinking, like, well, what would have been so bad about having Jeff Sims over, maybe just...
Yeah, but, again, I think that's hindsight. I think when you look at the skill sets of Chubba Purdy and Jeff Sims, even Jeff Sims, who's played a lot, you're like, okay, I think I'm more intrigued by Chubba. Jeff Sims, I watched some of that Miami game. There was nothing about that's impressive. He can run. That's it. And I don't even think he's like as good a runner as Jordan. Like, I don't think he's that guy. And I think he's not as good a passer as Jordan Travis. So I get why you would, in the moment, take Chubba and then get a backup plan, quote unquote, and Tate Rodemaker. But man, we are also allowed in hindsight to say, well, that didn't turn out well. Whether Chubba didn't feel like he was getting developed, whether Chubba was mad that he wouldn't play, whether he wasn't good enough to play, clearly those 2 guys that you signed almost 2 years ago now, one of whom came in the spring. Tate Rodemaker's been, again, they didn't have a spring that year, but he's been on campus for almost 2 years now. And then Chubba Purdy, who couldn't get right and left the team in the spring. Well, those were misses. Whether it's their fault or your fault, or you had to do something, it was your first recruiting class. I get it. It didn't work out.
That's the thing too, right? Like Chubba missed all that time, but still was ahead of him. Like, that's not a good sign,
right?
If you have stock.
Yes, I agree with that. Right. And but your QB room isn't as good as it needs to be, and at some point, coaches have to be blamed for something.
Correct.
And I think the way they've handled the QB position, really, the last year, when we look at it now with the advantage of hindsight, and I know obviously I get to use hindsight. I'm sure I was saying a different tune when they got McKenzie Milton. They have not handled the QB room all that well, in the last year. So but again, there's also reasons. You had a kid coming off a 3-year injury. You had another kid that got hurt last year and then went home in the spring. Jordan Travis has a hard time staying healthy. Tate Rodemaker is kind of your backup guy. But, this is where you are now, that you have Jordan Travis, who is always, his health is always going to be an issue. Mackenzie Milton's not going to be here next year. And you have A.J. Duffy coming in. Where does Rodemaker stand? Do you need to go get another transfer portal quarterback? It just seems like the QB position is still in flux, which you'd hope going into year 3 or year 2.5, whatever you want to call it, you'd have a better handle of where you are at QB, but, they don't.
C_Swizzle 8. Wake up! I was born and raised in Tallahassee, but I currently live in Miami. Being down here and surrounded by Canes fans, a W would be 100 times sweeter. How many completions, I ask, and how many passing yards do you think we have to limit Tyler Van Dyke to in order to come out with the win? All right, less than 23 completions.
Okay.
Less than 315 yards.
I mean, passing yards aren't always the end-all, be-all of success. I would say under 340.
Okay.
But he could throw. I mean, there have been times where teams have thrown for 450 yards and lost. Chris Winkie, I remember doing that in a Miami game, as a matter of fact, throwing for like 480 yards and losing. That was awesome. So it can happen. It's not the end all be all of the success you're having on offense. It's just net passing yards. But yeah, I would say if you keep them from having a 350, 400 yard sling it all over the lot type of afternoon, you got yourself a chance.
Isn't that, I don't want to put like too much on this game. That, by the way, Shane Buechele threw for 456 and hung 48 points on Adam Fuller 2 years ago, but Memphis put up 54. So
sounds like Memphis's defense did just enough to win that game.
That's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. I've been going back and forth on just like how important this game is going to be. It's not going to be an indictment on Mike Norvell. There's certain things I think that it'll be an indictment on, but not him overall and whether or not he can be successful here in terms of what we deem a success at Florida State. But, man, if this game is going to play out the way that most of us think it is, at least here on Warchant, I think most everybody has the winner of this game scoring 30-something points. If you don't win that game, and the other quarterback, if Miami's quarterback is the guy that put 35 points on the board in a 35-25 win, like, not only are you like, man, our defense just isn't it, and we probably have to turn the page there. It's like, well, our quarterback, when it comes down to it, probably can't outscore. If we have to get in these sort of shootout games, he's not going to be able to pass muster either. Like, there's probably more riding on this game than I want to admit, than maybe most of us want to admit. But
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think that it will. That's why I thought the NC State game was so big for Jordan Travis, and we didn't get to see it. This one's a big one for him. These last 3 games are really big for him. These are not incredible defenses, and there's no reason to think that FSU's defense next year will be elite. I'm going to keep saying it. You have to find a way to put together an offense here. And I like Jordan Travis, and I think he is a guy that can get it done. I'm not 100% convinced. I think he is a guy that can lead an offense that averages 34 points a game and is top 3 in the ACC in scoring. I think he's got some stuff there, but it's, these are the games you get to prove it, because say you score 20 in this one, you scored 26 against Boston College and another 22 against Florida, and you lose all 3 or you go 1-2. Man, he's on the hot seat as much as Norvell will be going into next year. Like, he hasn't proven anything yet to say that this is the way you have to win in 2022. Yeah, I think these last 3 games are really big for the offense as a whole. They got to figure out what they want to be. I think we feel like they found an identity, but that idea about running the ball and being a run-first team, and that's great, but that identity is solely tied to number 13. And when he's not in there, they can't run on anyone. See Jacksonville State. So if that's your identity, but you can only do it with one guy, then does that change the way you recruit? Does that change the way you teach your offense? Do you just try to go find an incredibly mobile quarterback? Because I know they got they got Duffy and they got the Parsons kid the next year, but those guys want to throw the ball. They probably don't want to come to an offense where they throw 14 times a game. So what is this offense going to be at full operational capacity? And knowing that, when you don't have a ton of dudes out wide to throw the ball to, you got to go with your strengths. So it's just it's a weird time. It's an influx time here for Florida State football.
BetQL Daily, ladies and gentlemen, which is sponsored by FanDuel, is the must-listen show for sports bettors and sports fans alike as you're getting ready for this weekend especially. Lots of rivalry games going down. Hosts Joe Ostrowski, Joe Giglio, and Aaron Hawksworth serve up all the information, analysis, and entertainment you need to know when it comes to sports betting with some of the sports talk you love and those insights, again, when it comes to the game lines. Find out why the market's moving all across wherever it is for this week's biggest sporting games. I was listening to them. I didn't realize, Corey, they brought up some good points. I'm not going to go into them, though, because you got to listen to BetQL Daily, presented by FanDuel. Man, this Georgia-Tennessee game, 15 seconds. Are you very nervous? They made me feel very nervous. I'm a Georgia fan about this game.
Yeah, I'm not very nervous, but yeah, I'm certain that point spread seems outrageous. And this is the best offense Georgia's faced by a pretty large percentage. And I don't know that I trust Georgia's offense to just put up a ton of points on the road, even against a not good defense. I just, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not 100% confident in that game at all.
If you're not sure where to start with sports betting, start with BetQL Daily presented by FanDuel. You can listen weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on Odyssey, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
When it comes to salads, the fresher, the better. That's why at Zaxby's, we don't make your salad until you order it. Try our brand new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, juicy tomatoes, crispy Santa Fe tortilla strips, and our new Southwest Ranch dressing. It's big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. The new Southwest salad. Get it fresh, get it customized, get it made to order. For a limited time, only at your neighborhood Zaxby's.
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
Let's go to Naples, shall we? It's M. Adam CZ. Wake up! Taking my younger son to the BC game in Boston next week. Win or lose this week, rain or shine. Need to stay behind this team and their tremendous effort. Tired of the bashing of the coaches on the tribal council. This team in prior years would have been boat raced by NC State this past week after a 14-0 deficit. That's true. Yep. If Travis can go, great. If not, so be it. We need continuity with a staff and to recruit more horses. Simple as that. Go Noles. No question. He just wants to rally the wagons or circle the wagons, rally the troops.
And I think we all believe in that. I'm not saying 100% that like nobody's job is in jeopardy. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, you build programs with stability and talent. Those two things help a lot. And evaluation, development, those things are crucial too. But they're kind of up against it this year. They're if they win on Saturday, it'll be a close game. If they lose, it'll probably be a close loss. That's kind of how we can go into these next 3 weeks.
I just wonder, defensively, it's obvious the one change you can make that you likely make if things go sideways here the next 3 weeks. I just wonder what he's willing to do offensively and what you can do offensively.
Well, again, I think that's been the biggest issue with me this whole season. I think the defense has been as good as I thought it could be. It's gotten better, appreciably better. Yeah. The offense is not, and it's been sporadic. Again, I don't see how when you're in August, especially when Mackenzie Milton isn't out there for such an extended period of time, that it still takes you until week 5 to figure out Jordan Travis is our guy. But he can't run the offense exactly the way we want to, so let's cater it towards what he does well. I thought that took too long. I don't quite understand what happened with Chubba and why a kid in his redshirt freshman year that was hurt most of his first year is just, gone. the offensive side has been the part with me, because I do believe in those guys offensively. Like they have a much better track record than Adam Fuller, much better. Like they've scored they put up 40 something on Penn State in that bowl game. Like they put up points on almost everyone they faced for 3 years in a row. They lost to UCF, but they put up 55 or something the year UCF went undefeated, or the 18 game, whatever it was, in the conference championship game. They put up points on everyone, and that's what to me has been maybe the most frustrating part. Is it just the growth of the offense maybe hasn't happened at the rate I would have expected or hoped. But that's what's, because we know they can do it. They have done it. So that's what's been confounding, is why the offense, the bamboo still hasn't sprouted like we want. But it might be as simple as the bamboo was sprouting to the moon, then Venables took a chainsaw to it and then sneezed on it and gave it the flu. And it's starting to sprout up again. And we're going to see it. We're going to see the climb that it was making before the hiccup of Venables/flu. We'll see if it picks up right where it left off before that.
UCF won 62-55.
Yeah.
Scott Frost coached UCF 2017 AAC game.
What Milton do you got the box score there? How'd our man McKenzie doing that one?
I don't have it.
Oh, never mind.
Sorry,
Jeez.
man. Apologize, man. My bad. Didn't know I was supposed to have everything ready for you all the time.
Well, I thought if you were right there looking at the score, it'd be a little link right there.
Well, I'm going to assume it was him. 28 of 40 with 3 picks, though. But he threw for 494.
Well, hey. He threw for 494. Okay, that'll work. That'll play.
So,
all right.
32 first downs for each team. Memphis had 753 yards of offense.
You see what I'm saying?
89 plays. Yeah.
Like, so there isn't that's incredible. I mean, there is, and it wasn't like that was the only game they played well. There is no doubt this guy knows what he's doing on offense and what he wants done. It's just been so hiccupy.
See, like I said, he knows what he wants done. That's where I just have this thought in my head, the way that Kenny talks about Jordan, not that Norvell doesn't talk glowingly about Jordan, but man, Kenny talks about Jordan just as if that was his son. They're on the same page with things, but I think philosophically they have different beliefs of what kind of quarterback they want. I think that's why they went after Mackenzie Milton. I don't think they have different beliefs. I just think Kenny tries to build up Jordan's confidence. Not that Norvell doesn't. Okay.
But Dillingham knows without a doubt the only way they really have a chance to move the ball is with 13 back there. And so I think he was a little bit over the top after the Notre Dame game because he knew everybody was clamoring for McKenzie, knowing that Jordan Travis was their best option. And really, it turns out their only option. So you just got to get the QB room better. If you give or get Jordan better, which can happen. I mean, again, he's played a year of games. If he continues to grow and develop like we saw against North Carolina, and he can become a legitimate passing threat, which there have been signs of that, then this thing could take off. But right now they don't have. They both know they don't have the weapons to put up 55 points against a championship team like UCF.
Bird's the Knoll. This is their first time. Yeah. Wake up.
All right, Bird.
First time poster here. Obviously, I've been listening to y'all for years now, and just last year I finally decided to subscribe to thegreatwarchant.com.
There you go, Bird.
Welcome in, man. I'm from Niceville, home of former FSU legend Julian Pittman and former FSU legend and personal friend Deontay Sheffield.
Okay, all right. Kenny Felder, also from Niceville.
Dang, nice. Now, my all-important question. What position do you think we need to grab as many players as possible from the portal? He says wide receiver. If we want to be an offensive team, which our coach is an offensive-minded coach, we need better receivers than what we got. The dark side of me is telling me Jordan Travis is going to get hurt next year. It's inevitable, and A.J. Duffy will need to fill the role. If that's the case, we need receivers to catch the future beautifully accurate balls from Duffy. That being said, what do y'all think?
Yeah, if you're talking about offense, yes, absolutely. You need to upgrade that position immensely.
Well, if Destin Hill comes in and, I don't know, I mean, Keyshawn will be a senior. The defensive line, I think, more than anything. But, I mean, maybe 1A, 1B, or it's a razor's edge between 1 and 2. But defensive line, you're going to lose Kier, you're losing Jermaine, you might lose Fabian. You can't go into a season.
I thought he was talking about just offense, and that's a no-brainer. But yes, as we talked about yesterday on the live show, or Wednesday on the live show, I think defensive line and wide receiver are 50-50. But you've got you can't operate an offense where you don't have any threats, really. And it's just hard. It's hard in this day and age to not have really good receivers and go score a ton of points. And they don't have good receivers. But you're right, Destin Hill is a possibility. Malik McClain is going to get better. And then you got one guy on the hook already that's going to at least play some wide receiver and is a superstar. You got others you're looking at. And yes, the transfer portal will be full of guys that can make plays for you. But you have to be alluring. You have to be appealing. And if you go in these next 3 games, and I mean, I guess, look, I talked about this on Headlines, I think. I think what you do in the recruiting process, whether it's in the portal or with the high school kids, because they're going to look at these receivers' numbers. I don't know who's leading Florida State in receiving, but I can tell you they're not having a great year. I don't know who has the most catches. I would guess it's around 20. And we're in November. So that's not appealing to a big-time wide receiver recruit. Like, hey, y'all just don't throw the ball? So you have to be very nuanced with them and sit them down and show them with videotape. Not videotape. It's not the 80s. You probably do it on your phone. On your phone or their iPad, you show them the plays that you've called and how a guy like him would be wide open because it's one-on-one. And you're not trying to run down the kids on your roster, but you're saying, look, if you're in this spot right here, we've got you matched up with this safety, one-on-one with no help. With you here, this is a touchdown. But look what happens with the guy we have now. He can't get away from him. And that's how you have to recruit these receivers, to tell them, look, we do want to throw the ball a lot, more than this. We had to adapt to our personnel. But trust us, look at the Memphis stuff. Look at these plays that were open that we just couldn't make. And know that this is what we want to do, and you're going to help us get there. I think that's how you have to recruit. Because if you just look at these receiving numbers, nobody's going to want to come. Nobody's going to want to come and catch 19 balls in a season.
Played 9 games. Your leading receivers got 18 catches. Keyshawn and Cam McDonald. Keyshawn's got the most receiving yards, 276.
Yeah, see, that's a tough sell. But I think what I say is that's how you go after them.
Well,
that's how you have to go after them.
Yeah. Illustrate. You can do this for us.
Yeah.
S. Quinn 67. Wake up! Miami Hate Week is here. We need to flush the recent pass, get our guys fired up for hitting this new Miami quarterback. Maybe we should invite Mickey out to practice on Friday. Looks like our best path to victory is to sacrifice some penalty yardage on aggressive quarterback hits.
Okay.
All right.
Just take him out of the game.
I mean, aren't they saying the same thing probably over there? Get this kid's confidence down a couple notches. Play to the echo of the whistle. I meant to go back and look at this. There was one read option play where Clemson just totally sold out on hitting Jordan, and he did hand it off. And I meant to go back and see what happened after that. Like if he had, at that point had been.
Oh, like they're like, you're going to feel us right here?
Yeah.
This is all fun and games against North Carolina and UMass, but here, feel this?
Yeah. Because, I mean, hey, I got no problem trying to do that to Tyler Van Dyke. And I'd understand if that's what Miami wants to do. My question for the week, which was the most satisfying win versus Miami? Oh, man. I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, recency bias. 16 was pretty cool when you think about it. But 14 also, I mean, because they really thought they had us in 14. They thought they had it. 13, I mean, it's hard to pick. There really isn't one for me satisfying. I don't know. That's maybe a 3-way tie with all those 3 I just mentioned. I don't know.
Yeah, more old school. I'd probably go with 93 because of what had happened the previous 2 years with the field goals, and you'd had a lead in the fourth quarter of so many games and blew it. And then in that game, you put it away with a pick 6. Devin Bush, salute, shout out.
What were they ranked, though, Miami, in that game? They weren't top 10, were they, in 93?
Yeah, I don't think they had lost at that point. I think they only lost twice that year. Maybe they lost twice. Who did they lose? They lost to West Virginia later that year, and then they lost in the bowl game. So they were 9-3. So at that point, I think they were undefeated. But they weren't the 91 Miami team, but still they were undefeated.
Yeah, they were third. I'm sorry, they were third. Florida State was first.
There you go. So, but that team had beaten you so many times when you had a lead, and then you get a lead, but it's tenuous. 21-10 with like 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We've seen that lead disappear, or 6 minutes to go, wherever it was. And if you watch that show that we did, the thing that Jeff Cameron and Gene and I did on the Warchant YouTube page, we talk about that game a pretty good amount with the Matt Fryer play and then the Devin Bush interception. And it was a great call by Keith Jackson. Yeah. He goes, that's intercepted by Bush, and the game is over as he runs into the end zone, which was a great call because Florida State fans, it was so much relief because of, okay, we're not going to blow this one. Not only that, they covered the spread, which was like 14, which is a huge spread in a 1-3 game. But you knew finally Miami and those ghosts and those demons weren't going to come back and haunt you. You actually won the game and won it convincingly. So that I only had to go back 28 years, but that's probably the most satisfying win for me.
Well, obviously, I was trying to go off the beaten path. I knew you'd pick
I
that
know,
one.
buddy. I know.
NYC Noles. Wake up, gents. It's Miami week. It's NYC Noles. It's me. Right. Guys, I will be in attendance at Doak Campbell this Saturday, taking the family as well, showing my daughter the university, so hopefully we have another Nole on the way. Let's go. Hey, why don't you stop by Corner Pocket at 5 p.m. on Friday, NYC Nole? Come hang out.
Aslan will be there.
I'll be there. Laughing the flesh.
You gonna be there for the show?
Yeah, maybe I'll be there at 5. I'll catch the tail end of it. I don't want to steal the energy. I don't want to sap the energy while you guys.
Well, that's true. When you walk into a room, nobody's paying attention to Jeff and I anymore.
Just shifts. Everything just shifts. All right, can this team play a good game for all 4 quarters this season? All right, next question. This season, it's been mostly a tale of 2 halves from both sides of the ball, and that won't be enough to beat Miami. Why? I don't know. Let's ask Corey. And Corey, I will answer your question and give my opinion, really, to your question earlier in the week on why fans don't show up. Well, a major issue, IMHO, in my humble opinion, is Tallahassee.
I thought it was an honest opinion.
Tallahassee's a great town, but not an easy city to get to. The airport is outrageously priced.
Yes.
And as I read years ago, most of our alums do not live within a gas tank car drive. Put those together, and these games and visits are not something you can do on a whim or on the last minute, even though I did just that to appease my daughter, and I will be paying for this for a long time. Great show as always. You haven't even listened to it yet, NYC Noel, but we love you. Go Noles.
Yeah, that is the issue. I mean, that look, that was an issue.
Easy to get to. I mean, is
I
Tuscaloosa
don't.
Airport?
It's probably easier than Tallahassee, and I can't imagine their hotel rates are what they are in this town. It's nuts. It really is. I wish there was something that could be done about that because it really does hinder the football experience when people literally can't afford to spend the night in your city. But anyway, got to make your money. I get it. Hey, free enterprise, capitalist society. It's fine.
That's cool.
But yeah, I get that. I understand that. But when they're winning, the stands are full. So it can happen, but I think and it's not even a disconnect because I completely get it. When you've been beaten down for 4 years now and watched a product that doesn't win, I get that you don't want to spend hard-earned money to go watch them lose. It's not fun. It's not how people want to spend their Saturdays. So I'm really not trying to fan shame or shame or anything. I was really surprised by what I saw in South Carolina.
But see, you say that when we win, they show up. But I mean, I'm going to go ahead and fan shame them. I'm part of the problem. You know, my friends are part of the problem. Not against Boston College, not against NC State. I guess Florida for South Carolina, even in a down year, that's still a big game. But yeah, like 2013, it was tough to get a ticket to the Miami game. I bet it probably wasn't that tough to get a ticket to the NC State game. The Maryland game probably wasn't.
Yeah, but those stands were almost full. If you go back and watch that, it wasn't like people were running stadium steps during those games. They were.
All right, 13's bad. Like 16 after they lost to North Carolina. I mean, I think even we reported like there was times where Jimbo would like look around and he'd be pissed off. He's like that there were going to be a sold out crowd on hand to watch them play Syracuse.
Yeah, and I'm really not smart enough to know. I don't have any answers for this.
No, we're not close to any. It's the car drive thing too, man. Jacksonville's the closest metro area, and it's still 2 hours away. I mean Tuscaloosa, and I think a lot of it too is your outlying sort of counties like Jefferson County. Like, what are you doing in Jefferson County on a Saturday that you're not in Tallahassee watching a game?
Right.
Like. That's what kills me. Is like you need the Leon County local sort of turnout is all you really get in that stadium, and it still doesn't seem enough because there's like something like over 40,000 alums in this city still, plus the students. So,
Hey,
we can wag our finger at people in Tampa and Miami, but like if you're in Osceola, what are you doing? I mean, and they're not high-priced tickets, man. I understand that this isn't the most economically diverse, robust part of the state, but Florida State realizes that, and their tickets are priced really aggressively. All right, I'm done.
Well, they are. The secondary market's not. You could do pretty well on there, but yeah, you're right. They don't have. There's got to be, and I think there's already happening. I think there's a shift in how they're marketing this season tickets, how they're marketing to the boosters. But this is an issue. Like it is an issue. Like when you have a conference game, an important conference game against a top 20 team, and you just lost your 3-game winning streak, but you lost in the final minute at Clemson, and then there's less than 50,000 people in your stadium. They announced 50. It was probably 40. Half the stadium's empty. That's not a good look. That has to be addressed. But I'm not in any position to address it. I don't know how to do it. And I'm not even a great person to talk to about it because I think to myself, okay, I could go to a 3:30 game and then leave at the game ends at 7, and I could get on the road at 7:30, and I don't mind driving 5 hours back to my house. But I know I'm in the minority because I'm a weirdo and I drive all the time. It really is cool to make it a weekend. But golly, man, go try to make it a weekend by booking 8 months in advance, and you're spending thousands of dollars for a team that isn't good right now. So I get it. It's the team has to get good first. It's not really a chicken or the egg thing. We know it has to happen first. Some schools, some programs, like A&M doesn't have this problem. And they haven't been anything forever. They don't have 40,000 people show up to their games when they go 5-7 or 6-6. That's a different fan base. And,
that's the thing. It's more ingrained, right? It's like ingratiated in them. Like Grandpa went to the game. Grandpa's dad went to these games. Florida State's like, hey, man, we've really only been great for 35 years. I mean, that's one generation, like half of a generation. Like it's not ingrained in people. They're like, my grandpa went to every single game. There's some of y'all. But not a lot. But, if we're still having this conversation in 20, 25 years, although it might be too late by then because all this TV money. But anyhow, Corey, why can't we play a good game for 4 quarters unless you want to keep talking about attendance?
No, I don't. It's fine. No, because it's a good team. Mediocre teams don't play good for 4 quarters. It's a reason they're 3-6. You have to hope when you are playing well, it's good enough to overcome when you don't play well. I mean, again, you're not consistent. That's part of the reason we're here looking at this. But Miami's not going to play good for 4 quarters. So, you just hope you play you play more plays better than they do.
Do you think they'll play 4 good quarters, Corey?
No. Okay. Just ask me the same question again?
Well, no, I mean, you just said they can't, but I mean, it's not to say that it's impossible.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't think they're going to play. They haven't done that this year. There hasn't been. I mean, it's not like they played the first quarter against North Carolina well, and that's the best game they played. So no, they're not going to play 4 good quarters.
I thought that was part of the plan, though. Like lure North Carolina to a false sense of security, and then bang.
That's not. You're right. You're right. Now that I think about it, maybe you let Miami get up about 10-17. The Van Dyke kid starts skipping around, looking like a leprechaun, dancing all around, talking trash, and then you bring the heat.
Nole 43, wake up, it's Miami week, let's go Noles. I hope Jordan Travis can go Saturday and we smash the U. I might be coming down to Tallahassee for the showdown versus Miami. Our Noles need to jump out against the Hurricanes fast, take the early lead. I would like to see Jermaine and Kier run stunts and twists, sack Van Dyke. Noles 36, Hurricanes 14. As always, hit the thumbs up button, drink delicious DeLuna coffee, go Noles. P.S. It's Eric from Cincinnati. Oh, it's Eric Angel. He's Nole 43. I never knew that. It's Eric Angel, everybody.
I think Shane told me that.
Yeah.
And I forgot to relay that to you. But yeah, he told me that. But I knew it from the score because he had the same score prediction on the live show.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't think we have to take an early lead. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I don't think whoever's winning after the first quarter is going to win the football game. I'd rather have the ball last in this game than have the lead starting this second quarter.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Right. Sure, man. Absolutely.
You don't agree with that? Do you agree with it? You want to fight?
No, I don't want to fight. I don't really have an opinion either way.
All right. Bradley Moss 22. Wake up! Just heard this Southern Cal game is off due to Cal not having enough players due to COVID. He posted this back on Tuesday. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Apparently this is the first game to get canceled this year.
And apparently all but 2 of the Cal players were vaccinated.
Oh, boy. That got me thinking. We haven't really seen any issues.
But they were all asymptomatic, I should say. Like, they wouldn't have even been tested at all because none of them were showing symptoms, but they did all test positive.
Why did they test them? Did they not have the same sort
one of the
threshold?
ones that wasn't, I think one of the ones that wasn't vaccinated was showing symptoms, and so they tested everyone around them, even the vaccinated, and at least 20 or so of the vaccinated kids, maybe more than that, also tested positive.
How cool do you feel now, huh, bud? Your body autonomy. How cool does that feel? Use your autonomous body and do nothing Saturday and just ruin it for your whole team.
Right.
That got me thinking we haven't really seen hardly any issues at the college level on players being out due to COVID, especially at FSU. I'm not sure if that has come up at all so far while covering the team this year, but it seems like it hasn't even been mentioned as an issue. Well, because they hit the threshold. So you hit that threshold of getting certain players, X amount of players vaccinated, and you don't go through the testing. You don't go through the monitoring. There's probably been guys that are asymptomatic on the team that have had it, but again, they're not being tested because they hit that threshold that most of the Power 5 conferences set. But yeah, credit to the program for doing that, though. I mean, good job. I know this year has been disappointing, but I guess the silver lining is that at least the games have been played. It would be a disaster if some games got canceled this year. These kids need the game reps as much as possible. Which gets me to thinking now, Corey, if 20 to 25 guys being sick wasn't enough to, torpedo the NC State game, how horrible must it have been last year before the Virginia game and before the Clemson? Well, Clemson game was it was more so Clemson bringing a dirty player, not dirty, I'm sorry, but a player who had possibly been infected down. So how bad must those situations have been last year to cancel it? Whereas this past year, it's like, yeah, man, we had 25 dudes that at some point missed practice, but we'll still roll the ball out there. Rhetorical, maybe more than anything. Rhetorical.
Yeah, it would be really bad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we finish these last few games strong. Do you have to go to the restroom? Do you want to take a break?
No, I was looking up something, but it didn't work out.
Let's take a break, though. Kraken, everybody.
Why?
Hey, guys,
okay.
If you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies, but you're not sure where to start, you know by now, if you listen to the show, that the Kraken app has got your answers for getting involved and started in the crypto game. With Kraken, you can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ethereum, all on the go from the palm of your hand, mobile device, or even your laptop. It's so easy to get started. Download their app, create your account. You can invest in minutes. Find out for yourself why Kraken has been one of the highest rated places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. This stuff seems fairly new, but Kraken's been around for 10 years, keeping their eyes on stuff. So visit kraken.com/warchant to learn more or search for Kraken in the App Store. And don't forget, everybody, it sounds very overwhelming, but you can get started for as little as $10 on the Kraken app. Corey, what did your research flesh out for us?
Well, no, I was trying to look up hotel rates for next year's season, but none of the games are available. We don't know when the games are yet. So right now, if you go to Priceline and just pick a random Saturday in September, it's not going to be the Labor Day weekend because they're going to be in New Orleans. When's the Duquesne game? But the schedule isn't out yet. But if you just assume they're going to be playing at home in the middle of September, you can get some pretty good rates right now.
Get on it. Just like
the
our
problem
guy,
is you
August 27th.
You can't get your money back, I don't think, if they don't play. Like if they're on the road at NC State on the weekend you picked, you're just out $150 for those 2 nights.
August 27th is when they play Duquesne.
Okay, well, let's see it right now. I'm gonna check it right now for these rates.
First time starting a season with a win since 2016.
Oh man, yeah, these are the same rates. Get on it, guys. Y'all could be there for the opener next week or next year, the home opener. Plenty of affordable rooms available for next year versus Duquesne to see the Travis Hunter era begin.
I don't know if this is true or not, but NYC_Nole, which, oh wow, so there's there's NYC Nole 2. There's NYC underscore Nole underscore 2. He's Charlie Avatar 92 Miami game.
Okay.
Then there's just NYC space Nole. And now there's NYC underscore Nole.
Man, there's too many.
And his avatar is apparently the Florida game because Osceola's off the horse, off Renegade. He's at midfield with the spear over his head.
Right, got it.
And have I upset you, Corey? I feel like you're mad at me right now. Very,
No,
very terse.
I was agreeing with you.
I like it, though. It's good. We need to keep this moving. I got to get a snack in me here. NYC underscore Noel says, and he's posted a photo of Manny photoshopped over Al Pacino's character in Scarface. He says, I cut him from our Theta Chi intramural flag football team. We were winners. Manny has never been one. So I don't know. Maybe an old fraternity brother of his? Look at that.
They cut you off frat football teams?
Yeah, man.
I
am football's real stuff, bro.
Wouldn't you just say, hey, man, you're on the team, but we're not going to play you this game? Well, like you actually, because you're cutting them, but you're still like living with them.
Well, maybe he
so
wasn't
I feel
living
like
in the house.
if you try out for the frat flag football team, you're on the team. You're just there you're a practice body. Yeah. Or if Joey and Bryce and Kendall get knocked out, you get to roll in there, right?
Yeah. By the way,
man, he must have not been good.
They probably can do vetting a lot easier now, but just let Brady know that if he does decide to rush a fraternity he wants to get into, just tell them that he was like the starting quarterback at his high school. And that'll just get you moved to the front of the list. But they probably have like a full dossier now. With like,
I was going to say, I figured they'll just be like, where'd you play? Let me go to Max Preps. I don't see your name here.
Yeah, liar.
Yeah.
Warpath Knoll. By the way, welcome more people from the Manhattan borough to the show. Big city. Hopefully one day the Meadowlands Classic comes back, the MetLife Classic maybe. And we can all go to New York City and come to you folks for once.
Yeah.
Warpath Knoll, wake up, fellas. It's going to be on in Tallahassee this weekend. I have two questions. If you could have any former Florida State quarterback, if you could have any former Florida State player that's not a quarterback play this weekend, who would you take to help us crush the enemy? What Kane player, past, present, do you hate or strongly dislike the most?
Carlos Huerta, place kicker from the late 80s, was there forever, never missed a kick against Florida State, was a weapon. If they had switched place kickers in the early 90s, Florida State wins at least 2 more national championships. So I'm going to say Huerta.
All right. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. Probably Ray Lewis, man.
He's not dead, is he?
I know. That's why I don't want.
You don't want to say Sean Taylor.
Well, no. There's other guys. I remember seeing the clip of Jerome Brown at the.
He terrorized Florida State.
Yeah, but when he was at the Penn State, like they have the little kickoff thing. Like everybody come out and have food together, and he's like got up on the stage. He's like, we're not. I think he's the one that said we're not eating with the enemy. Did the Japanese eat with us before they bombed Pearl Harbor? It's like, hey, Jerome.
Yeah, they're all in fatigues.
Yeah. But man, gone too soon. Though.
He was the one that said that.
He was an amazing player, though. I'm trying to think. Like Kellen Winslow. Final answer.
That's a really good one.
Piece of cake.
For not only for what he ended up doing later on in his life,
right?
But he was wholly unlikable while he was there.
Yeah. And he did some stuff to us in games too. So
he was a player. Now he was really good. And then as far as a guy from Florida State you'd want, I'd say
Kelvin.
Yeah, probably second half of 13. Kelvin Benjamin is where you'd want to go. I feel like that's 2 touchdowns. That's 2 touchdowns. Whether you're throwing it up 50-50 balls to him, which were more like 90-10s, or they have 3 guys on him, and then our man Pokey gets free. The impact he would make out wide would be good for at least 2 scores.
Perfect.
That's what you need, Aslan. They need to go get them one of them again. Get you another Kelvin Benjamin somewhere out there.
Dr. Rock 44. They've been a member since December 18th, 2003. This is their 45th post ever.
Wow, efficient.
But didn't tell us where they're from, so not going to
right.
read it. Not going to do it. There's rules. There's a creed.
Let's not do that.
Man's got to have a code. Okay. Well, he's got two posts, and they're walls of text. I almost feel like I should have read this beforehand, but let's just go ahead and dive into it. This is on Tuesday, by the way, so the wounds of the NC State game still fresh.
Okay.
I was shocked to read support for the 4th down on your own 40 with 7+ minutes in the game and your defense holding them to 7 points.
Get it right. It was 8+ minutes.
8+ minutes. That's not football. This coach almost every game has put our team in a bad situation by doing this. Why don't you talk about all for 7 now and critical for those? Yeah, there's this grammar stuff going on. I'll keep going for a little bit more. This coach almost every game has put our team in a bad situation by doing this. At the end of the game, throughout the rest of the game, and it comes out to the will of who wants it more. I'm going to learn not to read this guys aren't close. Yeah, I can't do it, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, you tried. You gave it a good effort. I'm glad we even had these last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Take it. I think it's Ira's 3-2-1. Which whoever has a problem with Ira's 3-2-1, it's the most level-headed, reasoned, pragmatic piece of prose that we put on our website.
Hey, man, calm down. And also, Ira's wrong occasionally. It's just his opinion. You can disagree with it. And we hashed it out on headlines. Like, it's not like he believes one way or the other strongly. He was kind of explaining the decision. It probably came off more as a defense, but it wasn't a decision that was just 99% dumb that nobody else would have done. I wouldn't have done it, and I first guessed it in the press box when he was doing it. But I was just kind of explaining, like, look, this is why. You were probably going to get the ball back even if you got to stop with less than 5 minutes to go deeper in your own territory. My counter to that, as I said on the headlines, is, okay, but giving them the ball right there meant all they had to do was get 1 first down and the game was essentially over. Like, if you punt it away, they have to get 4 or 5 first downs to get into field goal range. And you still have a chance. But giving them the ball at your own 43, and he kind of got a break that it went for a touchdown. Like, if Akeem Dent tackles him at the 26, okay, well, they run more time off the clock, kick a field goal. Now you've given them 3 points because you didn't punt it. But in reality, that screen pass, instead of going for 43 yards, would have gone for 90. So what are you going to do? But I get that people have a problem with those decisions. It's where football is, though. It's kind of the future of it. I think he's a little too aggressive at times. That was a little too aggressive, but hey, we're allowed to have differences of opinions without saying for sure because we have the reason of hindsight that this was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do.
Well said. We are done. Dr. Noel 44, by the way, come back, or Dr. Rock 44. Have somebody read it first before you send it over next time, maybe, and then we'll get everything smoothed out.
Maybe he was speaking into the text.
Yeah, I think he was talking. Yeah, he's busy. He's a busy guy. I was talking to text,
right.
So
he's a doctor.
Yeah, touche.
He probably had somebody opened up on his table. Right. And he's like, guys, I got to hurry up. Let me give me that.
It's like, I just read the 3-2-1. I can't wait any longer.
I can't think about this kidney.
All right, folks, don't forget, head over to the Corner Pocket and Grill on Appalachia Parkway for happy hour with Corey Clark and Jeff Cameron. That's 5 to 6 p.m. Jeff Cameron's got a radio show that's going to be going down from 1 to 3 p.m. live here on Warchant TV, as well as 93.3 FM in Tallahassee. Warchant Report is up. The best plays versus Miami is up on our YouTube page. There's plenty of basketball content going on. We have the matchup analysis that Austin Cox worked on. I think Ira's even going to have a player interest, personal human interest story leading into the Miami game up on the site.
We have the third and Lang. Tom Lang's analysis of how to stop Van Dyke.
Yes, so the world is your oyster over at warchant.com. Dig in. Hopefully we'll see you at the happy hour. He's Corey Amazon. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.